Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on episode 11 of Run with the Wind, and I'm going to say the last two episodes have just been so good. I love Kakeru and how he's developed over these last couple of episodes. Just so good. So good. I love it. I've just really he's turned so much around from the start of this series and him just slowly coming out of his shell and realizing that this team and this group of guys are not what he had in high school, and that running isn't just perhaps about speed and results, but there's something else to it. And so he's slowly like letting Haiji's words soak in. Last episode, the development with Prince and just his sportsmanship that he was showing, just it made my heart swell, and I was so happy with it. So needless to say, I'm excited to see what episode 11 has. So far, Haiji and Kakeru are still the only ones that have reached their official track times they need. Everybody else still needs to get under 16 minutes, but man, Kakeru he melted my heart last episode, and I was just so happy and over the moon. And so I'm really excited to see what happens this time with these group of guys. But thank you all so much for watching this show with me. It's so good. It's just like it's so deep, and I've talked to some people on Patreon about this and on YouTube, but oh man, it's what I like most about the series is that we're dealing with more adult, mature themes. Like, it's not just high school where it's worried about, oh, girls and relationships and high school. What am I going to do about my exams? It's focusing on, like, jobs and careers and thinking about, like, life as an adult and your health and, you know, your spirituality and things like that. Like, it's so much deeper than just what we normally see with a sports anime in a high school setting. And I really appreciate that about it. So I'm going to start gushing, guys, but last episode left me on such a good note, and I can only hope that we just carry that forward going into this episode. So this episode, we're going to start it here. We're going to start episode 11 of Run with the Wind here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay. So oh, this was such a good episode. I like the Shindo focus because Shindo's like such a pure, quaint little soul. Like him being, I can totally relate. Like being the farm boy and like having to. He basically had to do the Hinata thing where he like trucks up a mountain, like 10 kilometers up a mountain to go to school every day. But I love Shindo in that he equates to Kakeru. He's like, I'm not strong. It's just I just do what I gotta do. Like he doesn't equate that. He's not saying he's strong or stronger than anybody. He's like, I just do what I have to do. Like he shows up to class on time. He manages the website. Like, and he really is the Kickstarter of this whole thing. Like he was the first to get on board on the team with Haiji. He was the one that stood up and said he was going to do it in front of everybody. He's been like, he got King back on board with everything. He started the fundraiser. Like he's been a big part of the glue keeping everybody together. And so I love that Shindo got some focus this episode, and just him saying like, I'm not necessarily strong. I'm just doing what I got to do for us to succeed. And I love that. This episode was kind of weird because this is the first time since this series started. Last episode, Haiji was kind of down for the count for a while, and now he's back. This episode is probably the most somber that we've seen Haiji. Like, Haiji has been so go get 'em, high energy, everything's great. And this is the first episode where he really took a step back, and Kakeru kind of took the lead on this. Because we've seen, like, Kakeru's been running up behind Prince, Kakeru's been hanging out with Yuki and Shindo, and he's been kind of like, the others have been asking him questions. Like, he's been more social and communicative with all of them, and Haiji's kind of taken a step back. And I wonder, it seems like a little bit of foreshadowing that maybe Haiji's becoming aware of his own limitations still in all of this, because Haiji's been so gung-ho, and now when he went and saw that physical therapist, he's like, you're relying too much on your other knee to compensate for the hurt knee. I'm like, Haiji, are you going to end up screwing up the other knee too? Because that's not good. Like and I wonder if he's worried about that. And he had that whole talk about strength. Like, endurance running is not about speed, it's about strength. And yeah, we can make our times, but we've got to be strong enough to like endure the run. And I wonder if Haiji's starting to doubt himself a little bit, like himself out of all of them, which is scary because Haiji's been the source of positivity in all of this. And now Kakeru's kind of the one stepping up to the plate to kind of fill in for Haiji. And then, of course, Kakeru got that magazine with Fujioka's interview, and I wonder. It sounded from Fujioka's interview that he was expecting um, the team to be there, Kansai's team to be at the relay. Like he was kind of alluding to it. So I'm sure that puts pressure on Haiji to live up to Fujioka's standards of what he expects of him. And now Kakeru's involved too. But I'm noticing like a little bit of a role reversal here starting where Kakeru's kind of coming up to bat and Haiji's taking more of a somber step back, which is weird because Haiji's been such high energy this whole show and such positivity, and to see him like remotely somber this episode was weird and worrying. I was like looking at him like, "Are you okay, buddy? Like you're scaring me a little bit, just a bit." And then that scene where the scene where they're in the kitchen talking back and forth, I could watch a whole season of it. Like, just give me Haiji and Kakeru's conversations because their insights into things is just so good. And I love that Kakeru has slowly warmed up to this team. He's becoming like friends with all of them. Like I said in the ED, if you'd asked me 5 episodes ago if Kakeru would be hanging out with Shindo and Yuki making a team website, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. And that was so heartwarming. And Yuki warming up. Nico obviously happy that he's like at a healthier weight. King's form, they need to work on that. Him and Prince kind of have the same thing going. But I just love this show in that it's so slice of life, in that while they're trying to work towards this goal, they're all interacting with each other, they're resolving their differences and learning to live with one another, and it's just so cool. And I love there at the end that Sakaki, being a garbage pail kid like he is, was just coming up there about to talk smack, and Shindo's like, hey, we got other stuff to worry about, like, back off. And I like that Haiji kind of gave him a look like, good, I don't have to run this kid off every time now. You can too. And so, oh my gosh, you guys. This was such a sweet episode. Like, these last 3 episodes have been so just heartwarming and sweet. Like, I feel like we had to get through this big hurdle of episodes 5, 6, and 8 to get to this one point. The only part that's weird from the preview is this reporter. This reporter seems to know Kakeru, and he seems like kind of disturbed. So I don't know what his deal is. He's in the next episode and he looks kind of spaced out. And Kakeru looks kind of weirded out by him. So I'm curious, but yeah, Haiji concerns me a little bit with that other knee that it looks like he's having some difficulty with, and I'm like, dude, now's not. I've been reading Slam Dunk at the same time, and I'm like, I know how this goes. You don't mess with the knees. And so I'm like, and he clearly, it's been showing us multiple times him favoring that one knee and looking at it. So I'm like, is this foreshadowing? I don't like Haiji when he's somber. I like optimistic demon senpai Haiji, and so this is, as much as I love friendly Kakeru coming out of his shell, somber Haiji is concerning me. But anyway, I really like this episode. I thought we'd get to the track meet today, but we just barely got to it. But yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed this reaction too. Please feel free to comment down below. Please no spoilers, but man, these last couple episodes, they've just been like, my heart has just like grown 3 sizes watching them. So I really enjoy it. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back next week with more Run with the Wind. Bye!